Welcome to episode 217 of the Amy Ayler Show, especially for powerful, soulful women that are ready to break free from all of that crazy self-bullying. Oh my goodness, ladies, we are so hard on ourselves. That's what we're dedicated here on the Amy Ayler Show, and really helping women rise, shine, and lead. And today, on today's show, we are going to be talking about living your legacy and how you can start to really embrace your own legacy and the legacy of your entire family and your loved ones. If you listen to the last episode all about Italy, the ancestry adventure, episode 216, I really talked even more about my own ancestry and the legacy of my family. And I thought, you know what? I want to continue this conversation, especially now that we're in the holiday season. So I wanted to bring on a dear friend, someone who I admire so deeply and so truly. The work that she does in the world is nothing short of jaw-dropping. Just, she is an incredible human being, and I'm so excited to welcome her to the Amy Ayler Show. And before I do, just a reminder that all show notes can be found at amyaylershow.com/217. That's amyaylershow.com/217. So let's welcome the amazing Erin E. Mitchell, who is the founder of several heart-centered businesses, all with one goal in mind: to move people and the planet towards healing. And let me tell you, Erin lives and embodies this on such a deep and profound level. She has a background in finance, of all things, and she also owns a holistic owns a holistic wellness center and is trained as an acupuncturist and Chinese herbalist. She's the founder of Nation Unserved, serving Native American communities with solutions to protect the sacred. Incredible. And I'm talking with her today about her video production business called Shine Light Legacy, which you can find at shinelightlegacy.com. She gets to enjoy one of her favorite passions: listening to people share stories about their lives. She puts people at ease to talk about the experiences, events, and people that have shaped them. She believes that everybody, and that includes you, darling listener, has a story worth sharing, and invites people to open up about the memories and stories of love, loss, tears, and smiles, capturing these moments on film for generations to come. I was really had the honor of witnessing Erin birth Shine Light Legacy with her partner, Billy. And I have to tell you, it has been such an honor to witness it unfold. It's really like having your own documentary film crew document your life, your loved ones' lives. It's incredible. So I'm so excited to talk with her all today about it. Welcome, darling Erin, to the show.
Thank you, Amy. I love that introduction. You're wonderful. Thank you so much. I feel super honored to be here.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, let's dive in, sweetheart, with having you just share a little bit about how you even came up with the idea for Shine Light Legacy and what that's really about.
Yeah, absolutely. I actually was on a beach in Puerto Rico doing what you taught me how to do best, which is stop, listen, and take care of yourself and do a little nurturing. And sure enough, I stopped around the holidays. I hadn't ever done it before. It was my first vacation away from the family unit around the holiday season. And I'm there on the beach, and this download happened where it was like, okay, I am in the treatment room as an acupuncturist. I talk to people all day. I ask them questions about their lives, because in holistic medicine, you really want to get the full picture, not just, okay, my shoulder hurts. It's like, well, what's going on? You know, what's going on for you in your life? And this download came in. My partner is a videographer and a photographer. And I'm like, we need to start getting these gems on camera for people, because what's happening is I'm noticing this technological world that we're living in, and everybody's on their phone and their videos and the cameras. But we've actually stopped paying attention to each other around the dinner table. Some of those older ways of being have dissipated in this modern day with the schedules and the plans. And it's like, all right, let's marry the older traditions of storytelling and listening, deep listening, with this new modern age. And I felt like it hadn't been done yet. And I thought we can do this. So that their birth Shine Light Legacy.
What do you find when you go and bring this entire film crew in to talk to people about their lives? What are some of the things that you find the most surprising when you sit down and talk to people about their own legacy?
One thing is I am surprised that, I think almost 100% of the time I will hear them after the interview is over say, nobody's ever asked me that.
Oh, yeah.
And they're not, they're not that profound of questions, they're kind of things you kind of want to know about your parents and grandparents and your aunties and uncles and friends. But when do we have the time, and when do we really set the time to do that?
Totally. Well, and it feels like that's exactly why I love coaching so much. I have a background, my degree is actually in drama, and I'm a classically trained actress. And I realized early on after I graduated college and went out into the big bad world and was doing theater and film and television and that kind of stuff, I realized early on that the thing I loved the most about acting was the story of the character, and really being able to extract from the play, from the scene, what have you, what that character's story might be, and find the truth and the authenticity to that character's story, and then making up a lot of that character's story to give it more depth and more richness. And so when I discovered the world of coaching way back in 2000, I realized, oh my gosh, this is exactly like acting for me, except I get to sit across from someone and hear their true story. And I loved that I got to bring my passion for that and take the thing that I valued most from this one art form into really this other art form of coaching. And I feel like as I've watched the clips over the years of these incredible Shine Light Legacy videos, it feels like in a way you're asking them these big coaching questions and then getting to bear witness to that, and then creating these incredible films that allow their family and loved ones to bear witness to it.
That's exactly it. It's a depth, and it's a layer that gets uncovered, and then maybe another and another. And it's funny. It's like I get to experience the pleasure of witnessing it, and then they get to experience not only obviously the end product. However, it's actually going through the process is incredibly powerful for the people that we've interviewed.
What do you feel like their biggest feeling is at the end when they have answered the questions and they see the video? What comes up for them? What bubbles up?
I think that they have reported being emotionally invigorated.
Yeah.
Also, it's exhausting, and not in a negative way necessarily, but it's like, I've learned that the emotions ride in waves like the ocean. And so, going through a Shine Light Legacy video are these emotional waves. It's joy and inspiration and, loss, and, the times that have made the most impact in their lives. And they're riding those waves through the interview process. And so I think it's an exciting thing, like any special event in our lives, how it makes us feel. If someone's getting married that that you
right.
love, or you are, you're going to a birthday party of a loved one. You get the butterflies. So I think it's like that.
Yeah. And do you find that that there's some worthiness stuff that comes up for people when they have decided to do this process with you?
So this is our biggest, as a business, that's our biggest challenge.
Yeah.
We can no longer market to the children of the legacies that we want to record, because the children can't turn it around. It's only the individual that can agree to this or want to do this. You can't get anybody to tell you you should do this. It's just, we've seen it time and again, and it just never turns around that way. And so what we really want to change our messaging, through this learning process to say, look, it doesn't really matter what your age is, because we're all living legacies. Every time we step into the world and bring our gifts and make a contribution in whatever way that is, you do not need to be a Pulitzer Prize winner to have a legacy. You don't need to be 80 years old to have a legacy. It's really who you are at the heart. It's who you were born to be. It's your inner genius.
I love that. So for all of you listening, what is the legacy that you're living right now? Really feel into that. And if Erin and her film crew showed up to talk with you about your life and about your legacy, what is it that you think you would capture on film? Because I think it's such an important thing. Often in the coaching world, we will do an exercise where you will imagine yourself, at 100 years old in the rocking chair on a front porch somewhere, and a little child comes up to you and says, "What was your life for?" And then just answering that question, what was your life for? And so often, especially in our modern society, in our modern day world, we're so busy reacting to all the things that need to be done. And then, zoning out, scrolling through social media and whatever, television and whatever else, right? So it's like, so often we don't really consider that. And I've always loved the saying, how we spend our days is how we spend our lives. And it really takes a moment, like do some journaling on that, darling listeners, do some journaling on what is your life for? What is the legacy that you're living right now? And if Erin came and showed up at your doorstep, what are those answers to some of these questions, which we're going to talk about that in a moment on their website, shinelightlegacy.com. You can actually get a printout for free. They have a free gift up there around the 10 questions that you can ask your loved ones. And so I definitely go and check that out, because I think, especially with the holiday season upon us, I think these are really juicy questions that you can ask yourself and that you can ask your loved ones. I know, and Erin, you and I have talked about this a lot, actually. My mother-in-law, my husband was adopted, and his adoptive mom was diagnosed with cancer. And this was many years ago. This is over 11 years ago now. And she ended up passing away within 6 weeks after the diagnosis, which was a shock because they thought that she had at least 6 months or what have you. And she just went downhill really fast. And I actually brought in a camera once she was home and on hospice care. I brought a camera and tried to interview her to try to just capture some of these stories of hers on camera. And unfortunately, she got so sick so quickly, so I didn't capture everything that I wanted to. But I'm just so grateful that I at least have some footage of her. And I think that you and Billy, your partner, have had those experiences too, where it's like people who already have passed on just wishing that we would have captured some of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. And so good of you to do that, because, it takes a lot of courage. And it's also, this is not meant to be the Grim Reaper video camera at all,
Right.
But yet at a sensitive time like that, but you know what? Life is too precious and too short. And I bet that you and your children and your husband are so eternal in her, the gift that was for her to know that she was that loved and that admired, that someone would want that of her. And of her life and what she's meant to so many. And it takes a lot of courage. But it is true. And I both my partner and I have lost our fathers. That was a big impetus to this, because they happen to both be great storytellers and just funny and philosophers and things like, just really amazing men in their own right. And we don't have their legacy videos. And sure enough, we got our mother's legacy videos. We launched the company. So good for us. And 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 it's just, we've all, look, I mean, age is not a thing anymore. You die when you're old. We're seeing it all the time. Young people and cancers at earlier ages and sudden deaths for lots and lots of reasons. And it's just not something like life, birth, and death are one. And it's definitely something where, as a culture, we just have to be more accepting of it so that we do the things that we know are meaningful today and now. We don't get that second chance.
Yeah, so true. I'm wondering, Erin, if you could share with us a few of the questions that you ask at Shine Light that might be useful for us as we're gathering over the holiday season with our loved ones, something that can, I'm such a fan, whatever holiday, when we're sitting around the table, sharing a meal with my family, with my loved ones, with my chosen family. I can't stand small talk. I know Erin, you and I share this. I'm like, I cannot do it. Even at holiday parties, I'm like the weirdo that's like, so tell me what's really going on. I can't, I just hate it so much. And so I'm wondering if you have some questions that might be really juicy for people to be able to bring to the holiday season, to bring to the, whether it's a holiday party that you're attending with cocktails or you're sitting around with your family over sharing a beautiful meal, of some things that we could do to really bring out that legacy piece.
Yeah, I love that. And, I think there's 3 different maybe categories here, and you could take it whichever way suits you individually and then the person that you're talking to. Because again, you do want to be present to who am I speaking with, and what is their personality, and what do you think they would enjoy answering. I think that one of the major categories of questions has to do with the people, events, or experiences that have shaped who you are. So it could be one of each or one of the above, but, tell me, Amy, name me somebody in your life, and tell me about that person and how that person has shaped who you are today. Or that event or an event, and it could be an event that's personal, or it could be a world event that happened that shaped somebody, or just an experience, and experiences are so subjective. You'd be so surprised at something that it seems so minor to somebody else becomes, has a huge impact. And that will often happen with children. And you just never know what it's going to be until you're older and you have time to reflect back on your childhood or on your, young adult life, that sort of thing, that really ends up shaping the person that you are today, for better, for worse. But we do really try to focus on the light. It's, Shine Light Legacy, and shaping how it's made you a better person.
I love that. I love that question. And I just think, even like with my husband, Rob, I always like when I ask him questions like that, like in that vein around that, it's always so fascinating. Even people that you were super close to, you might be surprised by their answers, or what in that particular moment really comes up as, this person really influenced me in my life, or this event really influenced me, or the day JFK was shot. Wow, that really influenced my entire worldview, or whatever, whatever it is. I think that that's such a powerful thing to ask people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. True that, because it's honestly, that's the funny part. You're married to him.
Right.
And you're living this life out, and that's the beauty of taking time to do this kind of being with one another and listening and asking. And it's really wonderful.
What are the other categories?
The second one I would say is, what is your life philosophy? You could also call it your motto, or mottos that you live by. I mean, I think that might be a little bit more difficult to answer on the fly. Some people may know right away. that might take a little bit more time to reflect on, because, the interesting thing is we all have underlying philosophies or beliefs or worldviews that really drive our everyday decision making and perspective and things like that. So, like I said, that might take a little bit more time, but we all have them, and we all have these kind of bumper stickers that we live by, whether we're conscious of them or not. But it's really fun to get conscious of it, because usually what I find is that people are really proud of that. You're proud of your motto. You're proud of what you stand for. Because why would you stand for it if it wasn't something that meant something to you? So I think that's a really great one. And that could go in a whole lot of different directions, but it gets people talking.
I love that. And I'm, just all of you listening, what is one of the mottos that you live by, and really bringing that into your consciousness? I think that's so powerful. And I know it kind of goes back to, for me, it's also like, what is our family's motto? What are the things that we live by as a family, raising two girls and wanting to do that? Like, what are the mottos for those of you that are parents, aunties, uncles? It's like, what's the motto that you want to be imprinting on the younger generation in your world? I love really reflecting on that with my daughters. What's the mottos I hope to instill in them as they're growing up, and really bringing that into our consciousness versus doing it by default, but actually consciously saying, this is our family's motto, and these are the words that we live by.
Love that. Yes.
And what's the other category? Did you have one more?
Yeah, I have another one is, again, this could, kind of travel, but it is really around the umbrella of wisdom, but it's life lessons or lessons learned.
Yeah.
So, and I think this is so subjective. I think that a lesson that you individually may have learned and how it shaped you. The funny thing is if you shared that lesson with your child, right, they might think to themselves, that's not the lesson I would have gotten out of that, right? It's like, it's really personal. And if you take the time to actually focus and reflect on what those life lessons were for you, the interesting thing is, one, they can be really valuable for the next generations. So, in terms of this idea that we're less and less sharing wisdom between the generations, that's a real problem, because we are built for community. We are built for connection. We are built for the interplay between the young and the old, and the wisdom kind of changing and growing as we age. And it's just such amazing, rich material to start to bring in some of your life lessons into the conversations, no matter what the stage is. Because if you're a teen and you're telling your grandmother that I have like I learned this when this happened, they might have something totally new to share with you, to add on top of that, to change it, to reflect back to you something that you might want to think about, and vice versa. You might be 85, 90 years old and set in your ways, and you share some of this with your granddaughter, and she might say, but grandma, what about this?
Right.
And then you're all of a sudden, wow, shifting and changing your lens. And, so it doesn't have to go that way, but it can. And I've seen it happen. And it's such a beautiful exchange.
I love that. And I just love thinking of younger generations talking to older generations and really having those deeper conversations, and, getting off our darn phones and texting and actually having conversations. My gosh. Yeah, oh my goodness. Yeah. So I know we're going to start wrapping up here, but I know that there might be some people listening that are interested in having Shine Light Legacy make an actual video for them, can you just talk for a moment about that process, what that entails, and the best way for them to connect with you about that?
Sure. So, you can email me directly at Erin at shinelightlegacy.com. Erin is Erin. And essentially what we do is I start off with just a conversation on the phone. What are you thinking? What are you interested in? Who are you interested yourself or somebody else? We have several different services, but today we're talking about the legacy video, which is really about your life story and the legacy that you're living, as we've been talking about on your program today. And we have this conversation. I tell you a little bit about the process, which involves helping you to hone in on these kind of major highlight categories of your life, because it's not meant to be a verbatim biography of your life. It's really meant to capture your essence and the moments, the memories, the stories that have shaped you, and really just hone in on some of those gems. And through that conversation and through a follow-up call, if we decide to follow through, Shine Light really does a great job of helping you to focus in on those topics so that you start to get the right triggers to reflect, so that that when we show up to your home to record your story, you're feeling confident and prepared. And trust me, it's exciting and a little nerve-wracking unless you're a movie star to have a camera and some lights on you.
Right.
But honestly, it ends up feeling like tea and donuts with a friend, and the camera's in the background, and it's really super fun. And then you have this beautiful video, and I really love how I've seen that the people that we've done, they love their videos. Like they watch them again and again and again and again and again.
Yeah.
And then they start to trickle out the sharing, right? It's like, I want this friend to see it. I want this person to see it. And, it's a really beautiful, fun process. And then others are like blasting it out to the entire family right away, so it's personal, and it's a beautiful experience.
I love that. Well, and you also do tribute videos. You do tribute videos for people that have like a milestone occasion, like a big birthday or anniversary or something. And then you also do tribute videos for people who've passed on, and even employee spotlight videos and mission stories for people that maybe you're an entrepreneur or a part of a nonprofit organization. So definitely check out shinelightlegacy.com. I just feel like the quality of the videos that you're putting out in the world, Erin, alongside Billy, are just extraordinary. Every time I watch one of your videos, I cry. Just like, they just touch such a beautiful part of our heart. Like the way that you capture things is really quite extraordinary. So thank you so much for the work you're doing in the world.
Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Amy.
Yeah. Well, now we'll end with a question that I ask all my guests here on the Amy Ayler Show, which is, what's messy and what's magical about your life these days?
Okay. Good one. Put the Shine Light interviewer on the spot.
Right?
Oh, wow. I think what's messy is keeping the faith in the world that we're living in right now.
Yeah.
And I had an elder say to me a couple of weeks ago that it's really it's a gift to be here now. And that really helped, because then, I'm able to, amidst all the fire and all the literally fire in California, and all of the injustices and all of the energy that can be so intense with these shootings and the environment. It's like, we don't have to get lost. And it is messy. It is. But we don't have to get lost in it. We can recognize the gift in being here and be called to something so powerful to step in and do whatever our part is in this moment. It's going to matter. It's going to matter.
Beautiful. And what's magical?
What's magical is there's so much love out there. And I feel it. I see it. There is an intense amount of kind of going back to the messy, right? It's like this, there's a pool of chaos happening. But the love is so much greater. And the magic for me is surrounding myself with that love. And what does that mean? It's, it's people that I love. It's doing the work that I love. It's making sure I connect with nature every single day that I love. That gives me so much. I just think love wins.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Erin.
Thank you, Amy. You're amazing. I'm so appreciative. This is incredible.
Oh my gosh, so great. And I hope all of you listening, thank you. First of all, thank you so much for tuning in. And I really hope that you will take some of these questions that Erin gave us and really take that into your holiday season in your heart. Pull it out of your back pocket when you're at a holiday party of some kind or sitting around breaking bread with your friends and family this season, and allow yourself to go into those deeper conversations. And as always, here on the Amy Ayler Show, if you've liked what you've heard, oh my goodness, do I appreciate you subscribing, rating, and reviewing on iTunes. It really does help other powerful women get to know the show, tune on in, and know more about it. So thank you so much. And with that, we will sign off, reminding you to keep embracing the messiness and the magic of life. Bye-bye, everyone.